Century Southern California has taken water from Owens Lake in Inyo County, but the record runoff from our winter storms could cause catastrophic damage to the aqueduct and the surrounding areas.
A dramatic transformation is unfolding in California following a season of heavy snowmelt. The persistent drought conditions, which have long plagued the region, seem to have momentarily loosened their grip as an abundance of water has rushed in, filling what were once arid lakebeds. While this newfound water source has brought about some welcome changes, it has also triggered a set of unforeseen and rather disconcerting outcomes. One of the most alarming developments is the resurgence of Owens Lake, a phenomenon that has left many in a state of unease. In this video, we go on an exploration of the repercussions stemming from these recent events, delving into both the positive and unexpectedly negative consequences. So join us as we uncover the full extent of the impact. In the 1920s, if you visited Owens Lake, all you'd see was a dry, empty lakebed. But the history of this place goes back much further. It's a fascinating spot that's been shaped by both nature and human actions. Located on the eastern side of California's Sierra Nevada in Inyo County, Owens Lake is about 5 miles south of Lone Pine. Unlike many dry lakes in the Basin and Range Province, which have remained arid for millennia, Owens Lake was different. Until 1913, it held a significant amount of water, but that was the beginning of the end for this unique ecosystem. The lake itself is a sprawling salt flat, with a surface composed of clay, sand, and various minerals, including halite, burkite, mirabilite, thenardite, and trona. In wet years, these minerals mix to create a chemical soup in the form of a small brine pond on the dry lake bed. When conditions are right, bright pink, salt-loving archaea spread across the salty expanse. However, with the lake dry, the region was no stranger to dust storms that carried toxic minerals into the air. These storms wreaked havoc, causing respiratory issues, destroying wildlife habitat, and polluting the Owens River and other downstream waterways. The arid conditions emphasized that the lake was better off with water than without it. Fortunately, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power had found ways to manage the dust problem, at least until recently. Owens Lake made an unexpected return, and with it came dire consequences. We'll delve into that shortly, but first, let's rewind to understand how the lake dried up in the first place. Sometimes, even the most well-intentioned human actions can lead to more problems than they solve. This is precisely what happened with Owens Lake. California is notorious for its severe drought conditions, but the story of Owens Lake is more than just a tale of water scarcity. This vast lake was once nourished by the Owens River, but in 1913, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, LADWP, stepped in, diverting the river's flow to bring water to the city of Los Angeles. And that marked the beginning of Owens Lake's dramatic transformation. With this monumental achievement, the precious water from the region was redirected, covering a distance of more than 230 miles to quench the thirst of the growing City of Angels. While the city's residents celebrated the newfound abundance, not everyone was thrilled about this massive water diversion. A growing schism emerged between the interests of those living around Owens Lake and the urban inhabitants of Los Angeles. As the aqueduct siphoned off water, the lake's level began a gradual decline. By the mid-1920 SS, specifically in 1926, Owens Lake was nothing more than a dry, cracked basin, as documented by Steve Bacon, an associate research professor of geology at the Desert Research Institute. The drying of Owens Lake brought about a profoundly unexpected and unfavorable consequence. The lake bed morphed into a relentless source of windblown dust, containing harmful pollutants such as arsenic, cadmium, and nickel. This toxic dust plagued the residents of the area, causing respiratory problems and significantly deteriorating their quality of life. In an effort to mitigate this crisis, a court order in 2004 mandated that the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, LADWP, reintroduce a modest flow of water into Owens Lake. This measure succeeded in reducing the amount of dust pollution, but it didn't fully resolve the issue. Owens Lake had transformed into the largest single source of dust pollution in the entire United States. The lake had previously acted as a natural dust control agent, effectively trapping dust particles and preventing them from becoming airborne. The consequences of its draining, however, were starkly evident. A report published by the U.S. Geological Survey in 1927 noted that the desiccation of Owens Lake had led to a marked increase in the amount of dust in the air. Furthermore, the report observed that dust storms had become more frequent and severe, resulting in severe health problems for valley residents. In light of the ongoing challenges posed by the dust issues in the Owens Valley, John Hart, a professor of environmental science at the University of California, Berkeley, and a prolific writer on the subject, has been an advocate for restoring Owens Lake to tackle this problem at its root. Nevertheless, even without a full restoration of the lake, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, LADWP, has undertaken a series of measures to combat the pervasive dust problems in the region. These interventions have made significant strides in mitigating the environmental and health issues. One of the most common methods used for dust control in the Owens Valley is shallow flooding. This approach involves covering the lake bed with a thin layer of water, effectively binding dust particles together and preventing them from being whisked into the air by the wind. This simple yet effective technique has proven instrumental in keeping the dust at bay. Additionally, a particular plant known as plantain plays a crucial role in dust control. These hardy plants grow on the lake bed and act as natural dust traps, capturing airborne particles and preventing them from dispersing further. This natural green solution contributes to the region's efforts in maintaining air quality. Gravel is another ally in the battle against dust. Spreading gravel across the lake bed forms a protective barrier between the dust and the air. This not only curtails the spread of dust, but also helps keep plant life rooted and in place. Furthermore, the process of tilling the soil on the lake bed plays a crucial role in reducing dust levels. By loosening the soil, water can penetrate deeper, leading to a decrease in the volume of dust particles suspended in the air. All these efforts haven't been in vain. The Los Angeles Department of Water and Power reports that ratepayers have collectively invested approximately $2.5 billion in dust control initiatives, which, as a result of their dedication, have led to a remarkable 99.4% reduction in dust levels. This significant improvement demonstrates the tangible benefits of these proactive measures in safeguarding the environment and the health of those residing in the Owens Valley. Despite the extensive measures taken to address dust problems in the region, nature seems to have other plans for Owens Lake. These plans have begun to materialize through the reemergence of the lake. Let's delve into this resurgence and the potential catastrophe it brings. Owens Lake wouldn't have made headlines again if it weren't for recent developments in California. The state experienced an exceptional snowpack during the winter of 2022 to 2023. This snowpack was attributed to a sequence of atmospheric rivers, which brought copious amounts of precipitation to the region. By March 16, 2023, the statewide snowpack had swelled to 223% of the average, and it hit record levels by April 1st. This was a significant improvement from the previous year when the snowpack had been a meager 53% of the average. However, the situation grew even more intriguing as the snow began to melt, a process that's still ongoing. The melting snowpack is a double-edged sword for California. On one hand, it replenishes much-needed water for the state's reservoirs and farms. On the other hand, it brings the risk of flooding, especially in areas already prone to this natural disaster. Unfortunately, the snowpack is melting faster this year thanks to a warm spring. This rapid thaw has led to the resurgence of Owens Lake, which now sits approximately 1,236.6 feet above sea level. To add to the unfolding drama, Adam Perez, the manager of the Los Angeles Aqueduct for the LA Department of Water and Power, predicts that the lake's water level should increase eightfold by the end of the summer due to the record snowfall in the southern Sierras, which is still melting. On the surface, one might think the reemergence of Owens Lake would be a cause for celebration. However, the reality is more complex than that. Perez, in a surprising twist, describes the situation as disadvantageous in the long run. This paradox arises because the rising waters seem to threaten the anti-dust infrastructure built decades ago when the lake was drained. The resurrection of the lake could eventually lead to significant air pollution in California, undoing years of progress. Moreover, it poses a risk of damage to the aqueduct project constructed by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, an endeavor that took years and billions of dollars to complete. Signs of damage to the aqueduct became apparent after a March storm when floodwaters breached the aqueduct, causing 7,080 feet of water to flow into Owens Lake before repairs were carried out. To compound the situation, on April 1st, the Eastern Sierra snowpack, which feeds Owens Valley streams, was 3 times its usual size, resulting in even more significant flows. The Department of Water and Power is not sitting idly by. They're actively preparing for potential damage. According to Perez, the department is allocating between $20 to $40 million to safeguard its infrastructure. One proactive measure involves their workers raising and lowering berms around the aqueduct to divert water away from it. Crews also direct excess water to spreading grounds, designated areas in the valley where water can seep in and help restore the water table. In a surprising twist, Mono Lake, located 115 miles away, is also experiencing a rapid resurgence. However, the story of Mono Lake stands in stark contrast to that of Owens Lake. The Mono Lake Committee, an organization formed to prevent a fate similar to Owens Lake, has been tirelessly advocating for the rise in water levels. Their efforts bore fruit in 1983 when they successfully limited the amount of water the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power could draw from Mono Lake in court. Now Mono Lake stands at about 6,380.5 feet above sea level, and its return is seen as a cause for celebration. This sharp contrast between Owens Lake and Mono Lake's experiences demonstrates the capricious power of nature and its diverse ways of impacting human lives, as well as its interaction with human innovation. It's a stark reminder of how natural forces can challenge and reshape the infrastructure and ecosystems that humans have built over the years. That pretty much wraps this video up, guys. Thanks for watching. So what are your thoughts about the recent changes in the levels of Owens Lake? Share with us in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel with a bell notification if you enjoy watching our content. We upload some awesome stuff here which you will most certainly enjoy. Hit a like on this video and leave a comment below. See you guys in the next one.